Hello everyone. Last time we talked about the if statement and how useful it is to execute code conditionally. If the condition is true, we execute some code, and if it's not true, then we pass that code. Today we have a similar construct called the switch statement. Let's see what it's all about and how you write that construct, and then compare it to the if statement and see what's the difference between both of these conditional structures. So let's see what is it all about. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so first of all, let me create a variable. I'm gonna call it my variable. I'm gonna set it to a number, let's say 20, okay? Then I'm gonna use the switch statement. Put parentheses and then put curly brackets. Then inside of that parentheses, all what I'm going to do is actually type my variable name. So what is going on? If you type your variable name inside the parentheses of the switch statement, that means that you're testing this variable. So what am I testing it for? Let's see what is going on here. So I'm going to type case, and I'm going to go, for example, case 10. I'm going to put colon and then console log, for example, and then you type your own code. For example, here I'll put a console log, and I would say case 10 and then semicolon, and then I'm gonna put a break keyword. Then case 20 console log, again case 20, and then break keyword, and then case 30 console log, case 30 break, and then we have a default keyword, and I'm gonna explain what is the default right now, but let me just do coding default behavior. Okay, so what's going on? What is that? What does it do? So let me explain. So as I just mentioned that we have the switch statement, and then we're testing my variable, and then we have cases. So basically what you do is whenever we hit one of those cases, it checks if my variable here tests if one of those cases matches my variable value, which for example here is 20. So what is it gonna happen? What it's gonna do is gonna check for case 10. It's not gonna find that my value is 10, it's 20. Then we're gonna go to case 20, and then yeah, it's 20, so we're gonna actually execute that code, and then we get out the switch statement. So let me show you. Whenever we run this, it says case 20. What if I change this to 10? It says case 10. What if I change this to 30? It says case 30. What if I choose a value that's not even in my cases? Oh, it says default behavior. So this default behavior means that if your value is not in these cases that you've written, that means that it will reach the default statement and execute the default code, which is just what happened here. Okay, so you might be asking, what are those break keywords? So let me explain to you what the break keyword does. So let me change this back to 10, so, and execute this again, and you're gonna see, oh, case 10. Okay, so what if I remove the break keyword? What happens here? You might be like, okay, we're gonna execute case 10, and then it's gonna try, and then we get out, right? No, this is not what's gonna happen. So basically you see case 10 and then case 20, and now, well, you're gonna say, what's going on here? And basically whenever you don't use the break keyword, it's gonna execute the case that it's true, which is case 10 here, and then it's gonna search for the break keyword, and it's not here. If it's not there, it's gonna actually go into the next case without even testing if it's true, and it's gonna execute its code until it finds a break keyword. And here it finds the break keyword, that thus we see only 10 and 20. But if I remove the break keyword here, what you're gonna see is that it's gonna go into the third case, the case 30, without even testing. The same here. If I remove this third break keyword, it will execute every single line of code. So it depends on what behavior do you want. Some scenarios might get you to execute everything. Some scenarios, just like what we wanted, just to test for the case and then execute just the condition for it. Then we need the break keyword. What if I actually have this as 20 without the break keywords? You might be thinking that it will run everything in the code in the switch statement, but that's not actually true. It will actually go and search and test if the case is right. If it's wrong, it's actually gonna pass that condition and it's gonna go into the next case and test. And here it will actually see that yeah, we have 20 and 20, and then it will actually execute that code and go until the end of the switch statement if it does not find a break keyword. So it only starts at the case where it's true, and then it goes until it finds a break keyword and actually get out of the switch statement. So let me bring the break keywords back so we get the behavior that we wanted from the beginning, which is executing based only on a case. We don't want to execute another case code. And you might think that this behavior is very similar to something that we've seen before, which is the if statement. So if we have an if statement here, and then say if my variable is equal to 10, then if it's equal to 10, then we console log this, and we learned about the else if statement, and we say if it's not, then check if it's equal to 20, and we can have the console log, which will in the end will give us the same behavior. Let me try this. Let me create a third one, but with 30, and then we can actually have an else statement, which is the default. And you see here, I'll remove that, and here we go. So if I run this right now, what you're gonna see is the same output twice, because this is literally equal, is not literally, it's logically doing the same thing as this one. So you might be asking, why bother and use the switch statement if we could use the if statement? But if you look at this, this doesn't look so clean in, you know, just testing if something is equal to if a variable is equal to a value multiple times with, and there is no complex conditions here. It's just be assigning it's just an equal statement. So if you look at the switch statement, it's much more maintainable in case if you're actually searching and structured in a very good way, if you're actually just testing for a variable to be equal to some values. And if you have multiple cases, that looks very readable instead of this form here. But in the end, you could use both. They're both correct. The default switch statement is much more structured in a way, and it's made actually for such cases, so you would have a leaner and maintainable code.